There's a lot of room back there. Anybody that wants to go hash it out, and make sure that the representative from each working group, the small groups that we just did, go and make sure that those concerns are met by the letter writing. We're going to give 15 minutes. In the meantime, is there anybody that has any informal proposals first and then formal proposals while they're doing that? Because we have 15 minutes to discuss other stuff in GA.
I have one I'd like to make.
Silver has one.
Sorry. Hello, my name's Silver.
Guys, we're going to wait until the groups split and then everyone's kind of settled so we can hear it. Bobby, are you going to... Oh, yeah. Practice of trust. Practice of trust. Do you have a proposal?
What about we start discussing the rules while we occupy this property to prevent any problems?
Okay, let's hear these two, because we can definitely do that. Let's hear these two proposals, and then maybe we can work on that afterwards, because I'm not sure there's much going on, so I think that'd be a great idea.
Okay, my name's Silver. I learned recently that a participant in the Occupy Richmond movement has been blocked from making comments on the Facebook wall, and that individual is Chris Dorsey. And I know he's difficult to speak with and aggressive, but I don't think any individual should be censored on the Facebook wall. Everyone has should have opportunity to comment, and as far as I would know, there was no formal process for his being blocked from the group. So I don't know. I would like for Jim.
What happened? Sorry.
Chris.
I can actually speak directly to that. There was a reason for that, and that was because...
What happened?
He was
blocked,
Facebook.
apparently. I
From
just
the
found
Facebook
out
group?
From the Facebook page,
Yes.
for making comments. The Occupy Richmond Facebook page for making comments. And that was Silver's concern because he doesn't think any voice should be blocked.
Two specific reasons for that. The first one was that he's established another Occupy Richmond page that was made a specific invitation to the Tea Party without speaking to GA first. That was it. And it was that specific conversation that was...
Hold on.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt. I want to hear what Silver has to say.
No, that was it. It was a specific invitation to the Tea Party from Occupy Richmond that had not been.
How was it decided not in GA to do
It was
that?
never brought to GA at all.
To block someone's voice? That's a huge concern for me.
Yeah.
So that
That means someone is censoring.
Okay, well let me ask a question as a member of media then. Do we want to treat Facebook like GA?
We want to treat any outlets that everyone can speak to without. Let's hear it.
Let's pass this through
Let's
GA
hear it.
and hear the whole
Yeah,
side
let's
story.
hear it.
Silver, you obviously had something to say.
Please raise your hand because I'm seeing your concerns after you formalize the thought.
I could throw something out there. I've been watching the Occupy Wall Street forums probably since the day it started.
Right.
And they have censored everything, especially racist, homophobic, all this talk that is nasty, 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 they take it out because it looks really bad. And it hasn't been happening since they started their web forum. So I don't think it's necessarily a horrible idea to censor something, but I also feel like if people feel really strongly, then let everyone speak. I mean, go ahead. But I think their forum looks a lot nicer than ours does.
Do we have a stat keeper,
I do.
please?
Sorry.
I think we have 1, 2, and Greg, were you second?
No, why not?
I don't care. Just whatever.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
I think that if we don't censor, I think that there needs to be like clear disclaimers I think that needs to be like explained on the Facebook page that people posting on this Facebook page don't represent the group. They don't represent, and if we don't censor, we need to make a very clear point that we aren't censoring and that any person can say whatever, all these ridiculous things.
Okay, I think it's really important that we have. Okay, sorry. I think it's really important. Can you hear me? That we have something on the Facebook page that says, if you write racist, homophobic, sexist, comments, anything along that line, you will be censored. But from what I'm getting, that's not what happened in this situation. And I'm very worried that a precedent is being set that says if you make a comment that is not in any way infringing on someone's personal liberties, you can still be blocked from a group. And I'm not down with that.
Greg, are you upset?
Yeah, the whole idea to block Chris Dorsey, we should talk about it and see what the whole story is. Sylvia had other things to say. The whole censoring thing, anybody can come in and say whatever the hell they want. And they can be responded to by members of the group on the Facebook page, respectfully, and maybe detailing their ignorances and leaving it at that. But you censoring people, like what benchmark are we, what criteria are we coming from? What's the standard to say, oh, that's wrong? That's wrong.
Yeah.
It's just censorship.
All the things along the lines of what she said, there's a difference between removing hate speech that is in direct violation of other people's liberties and preventing them from saying anything at all. That is a clear difference. That is not censorship. That is ending hate versus preventing someone from having a voice in the first place.
I have a couple points of clarification. One, to Alex's thing that he's a part of this other Occupy Richmond group. There is another one, but he's not the guy who started the page. Just made him an administrator, and he just continues to post there because that's the only place where he's allowed to post now. But he's not really like a part of that group. And then secondly, as far as I know, his comments weren't racist or homophobic. It's probably just no. But I would agree that those statements should be removed. But he's passionate about the Federal Reserve and 9/11 conspiracy, so no one should be obstructed from saying those things. Thank you.
Can I respond to anything at all?
Yes.
The only consideration.
Someone's before you, Alex.
Oh, okay. The only consideration was that he was speaking for Occupy Richmond without having spoken to us. That was it. That was number one. That was it.
It seems to me that that he's done something, that he's talked on behalf of the group on a separate Facebook issue, but that's a different issue than whether or not he should be censored on the Occupy Richmond site. It seems to me like two different issues. That one shouldn't have been a punishment for doing something.
Okay, C's are meant to ask questions. We all know that.
I was wondering, was any attempt made to talk to Chris about his behavior before he was censored? Or was this just... I would like to know the process by which this decision was made.
Yeah, I think the second day of the occupation, the whole GA had Chris sit down, and we tried to talk to him about this, and he was very reluctant to talk with us and open up in dialogue. When people tried to address him directly, he would go off in the corner and start a private conversation with someone else and things like that. So.
Right. So was it that he posted on the Facebook page his name being Occupy Richmond, or was it under his own personal Chris Dorsey account that he posted on Occupy Richmond? Because if he posted under his account, under his name on it, I have no problem. But if he posted under Occupy Richmond as his name on the Facebook account, then there's a problem because it's not good idea. That's what happened. Okay.
So he was posting as himself or as Occupy Richmond?
He started.
Was he an admin?
He started a different page, right? He started his own separate Occupy.
He didn't start that page. He was merely invited
from his page
to be an
to our
admin.
page? Did he post from his Occupy Richmond page to our
Okay,
page
well,
as Occupy Richmond?
Can I maybe we can get some clarification and speed this up? So let's get one thing clear. Are we okay with the idea that if we have a completely separate Occupy Richmond page, that is posting things that have not gone through GA on our page, and then when they post it, it says Occupy Richmond. So it looks like it could be us. Okay, all right. So that's number one. So we're okay with that.
Yeah, I am.
What speech-wise, as far as what people individually are posting, what are we not comfortable with?
Racist, homophobic.
Let me just get a quick.
Racist, homophobic.
Okay, racist, homophobic. Anybody else?
Sexist, ageist, focused.
Sizist.
Hate speech. And you don't know what hate speech is.
Hate speech. Okay, so let's go with hate speech. So.
Hate speech, but not criticisms of what we're doing.
Yeah, that's fine. We need to hear
Okay.
it.
All right. Okay.
She's been waiting forever.
Who wants
She's waiting for so long.
Sorry. Okay.
Personally, I don't think we should edit anything, no matter how much we disagree to it. To say that it gets rid of hate, it doesn't. It just puts it out of sight, out of mind.
Exactly.
Like, it just still happens undercover. Like, I think it needs to be there and makes them just look ignorant. I mean, not on our page, just in general. If we start censoring the internet, where do we stop censoring this shit?
Same thing she said. Blurry. It's a blurry line. Like, where do we? And also, why was this never brought up before about Chris Dorsey? I've heard little bits and pieces about it brought up for weeks, and this is the first time we've had it.
Because to be completely honest, we are swamped constantly. And so when these decisions get made, they're not even really always like 3 hours later, we're trying to figure out how do we get this footage up? What's the next press release? What is this? What is that? So that's a problem, and that can definitely be addressed. That's absolutely fine. But at the same time, this also comes back to what I was saying before about, like, if you have issues with things that are being done by any of the work groups, go and address them, because we're behind constantly because we can't make decisions.
Is Chris Dorsey in media?
No.
I maintain the point that we all keep discussing that it's part of Occupy Richmond, or is Occupy Richmond, our Occupy Richmond. I maintain the point that everyone in the country, or in the world for that matter, whether they're affiliated with any one of us or not, or anyone who is actively affiliated with any Occupy group, is specifically through direct action attempting to create change of our governmental system, is in fact part of the Occupy movement. Whether or not they are specifically affiliated with an Occupy group in a city, if they are taking direct action against the government through ways of nonviolence, they are in fact part of the Occupy movement, whether they're your friend or not.
Okay,
Whether
hold
you
on
like
one second,
them-
guys. We're cutting off Stack for a second because this is a continuing conversation. What we're going to do right now is Silver's going to restate. This was actually a proposal to be voted on. I'm glad we got some hearings because he's actually going to restate it a little bit differently. Silver, do you mind restating that?
I would like for the General Assembly to unblock Chris Dorsey from the Facebook page.
Hold on, we're not
And I would also like to direct the media team to delete any comments from the other Occupy Richmond page that appear on the wall.
Okay.
That's my...
That's good. That's good. That's specific. We can do that.
Was that he was posting as Occupy Richmond. So that's why he was taken off personally, but he could edit that.
I'm not familiar with the admin process, on the Facebook page. I'm just concerned that as much as I support Chris Dorsey having his right to say whatever he wants to say, I think that the way it would appear that he's speaking on behalf of the group is still a huge issue.
Well, that's right. That's
right. But my point of clarification is there a way that to change the way it appears right now?
Can you block that for Occupy Richmond page?
Yes, we can do that, and with that we did that.
That's already been done.
That's already been done. One more thing. The other thing is to what you're speaking about is that, again, this is a resources issue as well. Like, we can't we would basically need to have somebody sitting in front of a computer 24 hours a day, paying attention to Facebook and Twitter, to be able to, kind of pick through all of this stuff constantly. So the thing that caught our attention was the double.
No, I don't want to.
Go right ahead.
I don't want to interrupt.
Okay.
Refuse to interrupt.
I just
No,
want
go-
I want
go
to
ahead.
get this all together because what's happening here, and again, this is a pet peeve of mine, but we're repeating each other's words. So if you've already said something, we don't need to repeat
I
it.
promise this hasn't been
Okay.
said.
Okay.
It's literally a question.
It's literally a question.
Is there not a way to make our Occupy Richmond page, quote unquote, the official page? Because I've seen official pages on Facebook, and there are poser pages of that official page. Does that make sense?
Yes, I have no idea.
Okay.
We'll look into that.
Okay.
I'm not sure. That doesn't really do anything.
But I think there's an official way to do it on
Yeah,
Facebook.
exactly.
Okay, he's gonna look into that.
We'll look into
gonna
that,
look into that.
and we can bring that back to you.
Proposal at hand right now is that Chris Dorsey himself be unblocked. That Richmond the faux Occupy Richmond page remain blocked, and that we can table talking about censoring hate speech for a bigger GA because I think it's a really important conversation. Is everyone agree with tabling the hate speech conversation? Because I think it's important.
Can I make a quick suggestion on that? Can we agree that we're going to, on the internet page, we'll censor, on the Facebook page, we'll censor hate speech, and if there is a specific issue, if you feel like there is a specific issue, you bring it to GA. This went relatively well.
Hold on, those are two separate issues.
Okay. All right.
Silver's
Go ahead.
proposal was about Chris Dorsey and
Okay.
not about hate speech. Hate speech just happened to come in. I think it's an important conversation. I just think it's a longer one. I'm going to take the proposal as two separate, no more staff. We're repeating ourselves. Two separate. Who wants to put Chris Dorsey back on? Okay, I'm seeing all opposed. Downright opposed. Okay, so that passes.
Okay.
And who wants the other Occupy Richmond page to remain blocked for fear that the public is seeing it as actual information? All opposed. Okay, so that passes. Silver, does that?
That's great. Thank you.
Okay.
As far as the hate speech, I saw a couple of people like maybe they wanted to continue that conversation. This person has been waiting so patiently. So he says he has really important information. So before we go through with that, I really want him to see. Because he's been waiting really patiently for this.
My name is Mark. As we were walking over here, my small group was with my best friend who's disabled, and we were walking a little bit slower. All of a sudden we see people turning, and we didn't realize what was happening, and then we found out that people were coming to here, which is cool, but I and my friend felt excluded because we were behind and bam. So I just wanted to let you guys know that you really have to pay attention to accessibility and ableism. It's a huge issue. It's really not thought about a lot. So just really try to be mindful about that. And it's probably something we need to discuss more
Yes.
in a group.
Even ableism needs to exist. Because we're having several
Right.
to do that.
And that's it.
On Wednesday night, we also issued this. We had several people who were not able to keep up on the march. We had several people who were not able to keep up on the marches, and the groups went on without them. I was working traffic guard, and we were yelling for them to stop, to hold up, to let people catch up, and they were not.
Can I ask a question about that? Because I think I know what you're talking about. Does anyone mind if I ask a question? Was that in between, was that going to Canal Walk?
No, that was
Okay.
walking around the
Okay.
city.
Okay. So an ableism conversation needs to be had. I think everyone knows that there are groups that feel a little bit marginalized right now. I'm really glad they're starting to arise because it's all really in the forefront of our brains and we're really thinking about it. We're having a lot of conversations. So this needs to be part of that conversation. And then we can hopefully have maybe an ableism caucus
Right.
to come with some concerns
Yes.
to the GA to kind of vote on. So can you, since it seems to be such a concern, can you get that started?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Me and my friend.
Because I'm really excited about that. I love that. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna make a small suggestion as moderator right now. How about we make it so when we do like quick decisions like that, or we're marching, we're making quick decisions. The march is a little bit of a problem because it's hectic, but today wasn't, and maybe we need to make like 2 to 3 minute wait and scour and make sure we're not leaving anyone behind. And
Yeah.
if we can just do that on a personal level, we don't have to vote on this in GA. We just have to be kind to others, and you don't have to vote to be kind to others. Just to make sure that you're aware of what's going on. Okay? And then you're going to come with a list of concerns for us. Awesome. Thank you for bringing it.
Thank you. Sorry.
Another proposal?
Go ahead.
Are you going to stack for another proposal?
I was initially, and then
Oh, I'm sorry. I
sorry.
already sat down.
I'm sorry.
You can go ahead.
No, you can go ahead.
Oh, well, it's quick. It's actually first a question. Is anybody looking into finding indoor warm space like this cozy place for us to meet for GAs? Does anybody know that?
I would talk to Winters if you
Direct response.
Yes.
Behind you.
I'm working on starting a student organization at VCU through which we would be able to more frequently hold GA inside in VCU facilities.
I also think winterization is looking at several churches and some other needs. So I would talk to them specifically.
Okay,
I'm not
just
sure if
going to
anyone
suggest
winterization is here right now, but
I am.
and is that being talked about?
We put a lot of that sort of thing on hold until we knew what was happening
Okay.
with the place. Because we didn't know if, we would have.
Will you tell your work group that that's a major concern?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a second?
No, that was it.
And she wants to offer to help.
Yeah, I was just going to
It's really
offer
important.
to try to find places. So.
I just think that being part of our subreddit, whatever it is, like we're trying to take back public spaces, so I don't think we should totally go inside. I think
it's in the interest of blizzards, raining, that kind of stuff.
No,
we aren't gonna
I know.
see
I just want to keep that put
in
that
our
out
heads.
there.
Okay.
To just do that every now and then.
Okay.
I have an informal proposal that I'd like everybody to consider, and maybe we can actually talk about it and vote on it maybe like Sunday. Take some time, think about it. In early December, the governor will be proposing his budget to the General Assembly. The last budget that he proposed included several $1 million for Bank of America after they had already agreed to come here. So I think it might be worth it for us to contact the other occupies in the state and invite them to come here so that we can go and ask him whether or not he's giving away more of our money to people who don't need it and to people who have been stealing from us. I think it would present a really good moment for us, essentially. It's right in line with the things that we're doing, and if we make a decision about it now or within the next few days, we can then start to plan accordingly, because the only other thing I want to say about it is that if we're going to invite other occupiers to come here, that's going to take a little bit of planning. If we have not decided on an occupation at that point, we're going to have to figure out, okay, we're inviting these people here, can we find places for them to stay, blah, 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 blah. So just think about that, and can we agree that we'll talk about this at a GA in the next few days?
I actually love your idea. Don't necessarily think it needs to go to GA. Think that it needs to go to a direct action meeting so we can really hash that out. And then just announce to GA that this is happening and please come. Because we don't have to, the point of the direct action, is to not have every single little thing. All these working groups need to get this stuff done on their own, have the trust there, and not everything needs to go to GA because we can really work it out. The next direct action meeting is at 7 p.m. Sunday at Helen's inside, so we can really work things out. Lots of water, heat. It was successful last week, so please bring maybe a formal proposal to that if you can.
That's fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, can you say that again? Oh, direct action meeting
Sunday.
Helen's on Sunday, 7 p.m. And just to let you know, we are closed. I say we because I work there. We are closed at on Sunday afternoons, but we reopen at 10. So that gives us about 4 hours. 3 hours. Sorry, bad math.
Oh, that's right.
In line with what you said about direct action committee deciding we're going to do this and telling GA that we're going to do it is going to happen.
It's already been happening.
It's not direct action if you're getting permission from anybody else.
Well, it's already been happening. There's also some concern about the language of direct action, the direct action work group. Just to let you know, direct action is usually considered illegal. Not everything that direct action meeting is doing is illegal by any means. It was just kind of bad wording when it first formed.
Well, it's also bad wording, it's just bad people's perception.
It's okay. We don't need to discuss this
That's
at all.
that's
Like
a
at all.
conversation can be
What do you mean illegal?
Direct action. Yes.
Can I just make one clarification? And that's it, I'm done. The reason that I wanted to bring it up so that we could all think about it is because logistically, if we are not occupying somewhere, we're going to need more than just the direct action group's help. We will need Comfort's help. We will need, people will have to chip in. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody was thinking about it.
Just to let you, and we can do maybe an auxiliary group because that kind of dissolved, and we need to make the communications happen. Just to let you know, direct action, other than media, is probably the biggest group right now. So we've got a lot of hands on deck there, and we should take advantage of it while people are energized. That's why I really want to hear a formal proposal on Sunday. Any more formal proposals? Now, should we go?
So much as it's an observation of mine.
Do you need us to mic check you? You sound like you're hoarse.
No, that's fine. It was just an observation of mine. When we were at Festival Park, I had like 4 or 5 different people come up to me who were completely new to the group, who had good ideas, and were looking for specific work groups. And I was wondering, would there be any sort of thing we could do for like intake?
Well, I've developed a pamphlet that we're working on. I've done one, and then we're going to make some additions to it so that we have them in each GA or each meeting so we can hand them out to new people. Because the same thing happened to me. I heard somebody go, you really should have somebody doing this and this and that.
Also, Jeremy, a couple GOs ago, said that he was going to go ahead and get every email up on the website, on the actual website. So I think he's working on that. I think he was going to say that day, so I haven't rechecked it. Have you? I think it's up.
On that worksheet, I know for safer spaces, it might be valuable to at least have 1 or 2 numbers on there.
Okay.
Because I think, especially for something like safer spaces, it may be an emergency. We may need to assess who is around the occupation. We might be able to
just talk directly to Jeremy or William
and tell them to put the numbers on there.
I think for a lot it would be good too, because when I went up to Wall Street, the ones that didn't have phone numbers, you just didn't know where they were, and their safer spaces didn't have numbers, and I couldn't find safer spaces some of the time I was there.
We don't have people for that.
Yes.
Is there people that can volunteer for that?
Yeah. And I would suggest that we work on that.
Okay. I think this whole, it's not even necessarily, it just needs to be brought up to media that this is a concern once again. We do think that all the emails have been put on the actual, not the Facebook page, but the actual website, so hopefully you can direct people to that. Double check it before you do.
That's what we're using right now, and we're going to update that. So we've got that on there for right now, and we're making changes. I think there are also going to be a couple more groups added.
Okay.
If you have concerns like this, send them to the email.
To the media email?
Yes.
Okay.
Because that has been half the problem that media has encountered, is being able to keep in contact with the other various work groups, finding contact information for them, etc. If you have this stuff, send it directly to us, because we can get it, but we need to have it in front of us.
Elizabeth? I just want to say that basically everything on email and internet communication cuts off and is very classist. It means that you have a computer and you have access to internet, I think we need better ways of contacting one another and being in communication with one another, and I think that's why we need phone contacts. So,
hold on.
I think that's another group that has been completely left out because of no access to internet, and I think it's really important to address this issue.
Okay.
There is 100% free internet access at the Richmond Public Library.
For 30 minutes, if you have a card.
It's there.
Or you have
I don't have a card. I can head
Stop, guys. This is not even necessarily a GA conversation right now. This needs to be taken to work groups. Is the point. GA, Elizabeth, I hands down agree with you. I'm not supposed to do that. I understand where you're coming from. I understand where everyone's coming from. But fights are starting to happen about ridiculous stuff that can be worked out in work groups. This is one of my biggest pet peeves. Work it out in work groups. The whole point here is that she couldn't find work groups. We let her know where they are. Please send that email to media. And can you put in the email that the concerns are that we need point person phone numbers for each thing?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. Can you send that
I
email?
found them on the website, the email addresses, but if we need phone numbers, we will try to get those.
So maybe media can do an announcement for point people to come meet with them and give phone numbers. Can you send that email out? Okay, awesome. Thank you. Do you have a proposal?
To address that problem, I'm willing to print screens of flags of each work group, so when we have GA, we can just
have it up.
stake a flag for each area that work groups can meet at.
Can you announce that in a general announcement at a bigger GA?
I'll just if someone could just give me the list of all the work groups, I'll just make them this weekend. So
The list of all the work groups is on the website.
Okay.
Do you have access to that?
I can probably find that in the navigation. So is it under?
So can you help her?
I have my computer now.
Okay, we can
Yeah,
do that right
because
now.
I'm willing to
And maybe
do that.
just write her a list
So I have
out?
that
Yeah.
Okay, great. Because that's a good idea to wave a flag and meet me over here. Okay. Told you guys it's new bossy, I'm sorry. We cannot have these side conversations.
Formal proposal, I'm not sure if it's possible, I guess you might know if this is possible, and that is that I think it would be important that if every night somehow we could put on our Occupy Richmond what our head count is for that particular night, every night that we meet. And it goes out to the world, so we know if Staunton is, say they have 25 people on their Occupy Richmond, and the next day goes up to 30, it kind of gives, we can add it all up and we can see what what this whole movement is growing, and I think it would help places that are actually low. It gives them a morale to actually boost up their
I understand what you're getting at. Did you say head count?
Yeah.
Or head count?
Yeah, just to show people how
Head count.
Head count, yeah, that's
For
fine.
GA.
It would also scare the 1% because they would be able to look on our line and say, well, they've just grown by 1,000 in 2 days. And it would also give us a morale to boost up, keep fighting for what we're, rather than get discouraged if we live in a little small town out in the middle of nowhere.
Speaking of head count, we had quite a few that have left, and there's quite a few in the back, but when we first got to Strange Matter, I counted 54. Just going to throw that out there. Pretty good for moving twice, too. And having an hours-long GA.
Is that possible, by the way?
Can you meet with media and propose that to media?
Police media right there.
I know, but this is a GA.
I think you already talked to Jeremy about it.
You already talked to Jeremy
Yeah,
about
I
it?
did.
And it just, when was it?
It went in 1 year. He's so busy that I just wanted to mention it to you too.
Make
because
sure
you're
you
part
see
of
it a couple people, and you and Jeremy can talk about it? Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm just trying to facilitate not having GA have to be a part of a conversation that can be done in a work group. Any more formal proposals? Informal proposals? We can do them all together. Okay, let's start. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Let's start taking.
Let's start taking.
Stack. On some ideas.
On some ideas.
So when we move. Forget his name.
Ray Boo.
Boone's property.
Boone's property.
The rules that we think.
The rules that we think.
Occupiers. Should follow. To show respect. Because this is not our property. We can't be screaming our streets.
We can't be streaming our streets.
On his property. Are you in staff?